The result you're going to get in Accel Decel is developing your body to get super quick at accelerating and decelerating reaction time, which is so very important for most sports, and developing all of your core and lower body musculature. Here's how you'll set up the accelerate, decelerate speed cone drill. This is shown in a 10% scale of what you'll actually set up. So each cone for you will be 20 yards apart from the next cone. Quite simply, start one cone, next cone 20 yards, next cone 20 yards, next cone 20 yards. Very simple setup. Here's how you'll perform this drill. Depending on your sport, take the stance that's most common for you when you have to take off explosively. So depending on your sport, whether it's basketball, you're more in a position like this, you're taking off, or soccer, many sports are like that. If you're doing something like football or sprinting or track, you can get in a 3-point stance to start. Well, whatever position, start there to take off. You're gonna take off and you're gonna sprint 20 yards. In this scale, it's 2 yards, but in real performance, you know it's gonna be 20. So you're sprinting as fast as you can. Getting to that first cone, you're gonna decelerate as fast as you can. Slow down and actually stop. Moment you stop, sprint as fast as you can through the last cone. Tip number 1, in this drill, when you take off, anytime you're sprinting, anytime you're decelerating, it's so important, again, body alignment. So when you're sprinting, number 1, you don't wanna have your feet pointed out. And very important, you don't want to have your toes pointed in. If that's happening to you, work on, even in walking, your pattern to start having your feet more straight if that's an issue for you. The reason why this is so important is because when you're sprinting, if your toes are pointed out, it's more likely for your knee to fall in, which is tremendous shearing stress on the joint of the knee, can cause damage, and you're losing performance. Because what you really want is these muscles from the hip and pelvis to be applied to the ground as you're sprinting. And the best way to do that is to have your foot going straight and going flat against the ground. If it's pointing out, you will be losing force into the ground because the foot will be rolling instead of applying all the force directly, smoothly to the ground. Now that we got the feet alignment straight, what you want to do is as you're sprinting forward and you go to decelerate really fast, you're decelerating really fast in this drill. So you want to make sure that as you're decelerating, again, hip, knee, and center of the foot are all in this perfect line. You do not want to have your knee falling in. That's a really big thing that you need to make sure does not happen. Your hip, knee, and foot is totally in line. And again, it's all about ground reaction force. You want to get all that power to the ground, and you don't want the force to be stopping in the joints because you're twisting and turning and doing all these different type of misalignment positions, which again, loses force, increases risk of injury, and decreases your athletic performance. So keep that alignment. When you're sprinting, feet straight, and when you're going to decelerate, everything stays perfectly aligned, and even your pelvis. When you go to stop, you want your pelvis aligned here. Draw your core in. Use all of your trunk and upper body musculature as well to keep your body very stable. The more you do this, the more muscle fibers turn on, the stronger you're gonna get, and the more explosive an athlete you're going to become. Tip number 2, as with all of the speed cone drills, if your goal is to have more power, to carry your body weight with greater force and speed in short distances, if your goal is to accelerate and have explosiveness, then what you should do is set up the drill so that the cones are closer together, and or you may even have less cones so your body focuses on that fast, short motion. If your goal is more endurance-based or to have the ability to carry speeds for a longer period of time and continue with your athletic execution for a longer period of time, then what you should do is you can extend the cones a little further apart and or use even more cones.